Ohto, our protagonist, is on a walk one evening, when she notices a dead firefly in the street. She goes to bury it, but the insect comes back to life, and speaks to her. It leads her on a night walk, to a capsule machine, that gives a mysterious egg. The next day, she tries to sneak out of the house, but finds herself in her school, confused by the eerie atmosphere. Runs into the bathroom, where a toilet roll shifts into the shape of a mouth, and convinces her to break the egg. The egg grows, and a girl named Kurumi Shoujo hatches out of it. After a few minutes, the school bell rings, and Kurumi runs out of the bathroom. A girl with axes, and little creatures with knives, known as Sino evils, appear, and start to attack the pair. Kurumi's right arm is injured, when an axe is thrown at her, and the two flee. Ai is also injured in the chase. They find a way through a closet, linked to another room, and rest. Ai doesn't want the whole thing to be true, and denies it as a nightmare, but Kurumi says that it can be a dream for Ai, but it is a reality for her, demonstrating that her own wounds do not heal, while Ai's do. Kurumi explains that the Sino evils and schoolgirl only chase her and ignore Ai. They chat and learn a little about each other. The Sino evils manage to find them again. Based on the explanation, Ai decides not to run with Kurumi, so she escapes on her own. Ai then goes to the roof, where she sees a statue of her deceased best friend, Koito Nagase. She remembers when they first became friends and weeps under the statue. She then sees Kurumi being chased by Sino evils, and the student decides that it is enough, and she will not be just an observer, and decides to run after to help. Ai takes a jump, and her pen transforms into a mace, and she uses to smash the student. Upon defeating the student, Kurumi disappears, and Ai comes to the conclusion that she is a step closer to bringing Koito back to life. In the morning, Ai goes to eat breakfast, where her nose begins to bleed. She realizes she has the wound she received in the chase, and collapses to the floor. After being hospitalized, Ai goes back to where she got the egg with the insect, and meets Eka. She also spots Neru, noting her looks. After that, Ai and Neru walk together on a sunny day. Ai attempts to make conversation with Neru, but it proves to be one-sided. After some time, Neru asks Ai who is she fighting for, and she replies that she is fighting for her friend, Koito. Neru is skeptical. Neru then tells Ai that she's not like her, and that she loves herself, and wants to protect her sister. Ai returns home, and is welcomed by her mother, and her teacher Shuichiro Saaki. The two of them try to ask Ai about her injuries, but she refuses to say anything. In her bedroom, Ai looks over Neru's contact info. Neru tells Ai that they will buy eggs on separate days, and they don't have to meet again. Now in the egg world, Ai accidentally breaks the egg and Suzuhara comes out of it. They are able to run away from Sino evils, but then Ai is told by Aka to defeat the Wonder Killer, which is the trauma of Suzuhara. It turns out to be her gymnastic coach, and now, Ai has to beat her to free Suzuhara. With their combined efforts they are able to beat the Wonder Killer. While waiting in the hospital with her mother, Ai sees Neru being taken in on a stretcher. Ai goes to hospital to see Neru, and show her new eggs, and communicates with her by typing on her cell phone. She suggests that Neru got greedy, and says that they should become friends. After she leaves the hospital, they meet each other on the roof, after Neru recovers, where they talk and drink juice together. The next day, Ahi is buying Wonder Eggs from Aka and her Aka. When she is about to leave, a girl collapses to the ground, trying to take attention of Aka and her Aka, but she fails to do so. The girl introduces herself as Rika Kawi. She asks Ai to lend her some money to buy eggs, claiming she has forgotten her wallet. Ai quickly complies. Later, Ai texts Neru about meeting up tomorrow, and tells her of her experience meeting Rika. The next day, Ai is surprised to find Rika sitting outside her door. Ai asks if she came to pay her back for yesterday, but Rika once again claims she has forgotten her wallet. Rika goes with Ai to meet Neru. In the hospital, Ai gives an egg to Neru, while Rika's bluntness causes Neru to immediately dislike her. Rika then goes to Ai's home, uninvited, and plans to spend the night there. There she tells her that she is trying to save her friend, Chiemi, whom she used as a wallet. They both go to sleep, and enter Rika's dream, because her feelings were stronger. Then both of them crack their eggs, and two girls, named Miko and Mako, emerge from them. The two say they killed themselves, after their favorite singer, Yu, did the same. Sino evils begin to attack, and Rika and Ai fight them. Ai and Rika struggle to work effectively as a team, nearly hitting each other multiple times by accident. Rika's arm is injured by a Sino evil, so they escape to nearby lighthouse. There Rika tells Ai the truth about Chiemi. Then a Wonder Killer emerges. As Rika and Ai engages in battle, the Wonder Killer attacks and turns Rika into stone. While their fight goes on, we are taken to another egg world, where Momoe Saaki is sitting in a train car in the egg world, with a girl named Miwa. Miwa opens up to Momoe about how she was molested by the same person every day, until one day she built up the courage to call for help. Everyone around them pinned the person down, but when the person turned out to be an executive at her father's company, Miwa's dad was swiftly fired. Miwa's mother blamed her for the termination, and asked her why she could not just put up with it, going as far to say that she was lucky to have been chosen. Momoe comforts Miwa, but shows visible discomfort when she is told she has broad shoulders. Back to Ahi and Rika. Ai is still engaged in a battle with Wonder Killer without Rika. She tries her best but is overpowered by it. She then takes light pen dropped by Miko and Mako and uses them to fight the killer, but she fails again. To help her, Miko and Mako plays a song by Yu, and the killer stops as she is also a fan. With their help, Ai finds an opening and attacks the killer, but it survives. Just as the killer is about to attack, Rika comes back, and combined with Ai they are able to defeat the monster. At the same time, Momoe is fighting against Miwa's Wonder Killer, Keisha Senmu. Throughout the fight, he continually taunts Miwa. He fires a red barrier at Momoe. Seeing Momoe in trouble, Miwa distracts the monster by removing her clothes. Momoe finds an opening and finishes the Wonder Killer. Meanwhile, Naru recovers and comes back. She takes Ahi to her huge office. Later, Naru and Rika goes to collect some eggs, and Naru gives Rika a tough time. Momoe arrives, and Rika mistakes her for a guy. By the end, all of the girls gets acquainted with each other. The next battle takes place on a bridge. In the egg world, Naru is protecting a girl named Ayaka from her Wonder Killer, Yodare. As Yodare taunts them, Naru turns her weapon into a sniper rifle that she uses to blow off Yodare's left arm. Naru manages to reach the peak of the bridge and drops down on top of Yodare to stab him through the chest, killing him. Ayaka goes to thank Naru, telling her it was nice to have someone protect her. Ayaka disappears as fireworks go off in the sky. The next day, Naru, Momoe, and Rika go to visit the home of Ai. Her mother is delighted to see her daughter bring home so many friends. The four girls go to hang out in Ahi's room, where Rika creates a theory that Ai's deceased friend, Koito, was secretly dating her teacher. Rika brings up the possibility that Koito was pregnant, before Momoe tells everyone to stop, reason being that Suichiro was Momoe's uncle. Ai goes to return the tray to the kitchen, but when she passes by the door to the kitchen, she sees her mother talking to Shuichiro. We are shown in a flashback. Shuichiro sketches a picture of Ahi, while encouraging her, and telling her that her eyes are charming, and that he wants Ai to have confidence once he is done with it. When Ai and Koito walk home later that day, Koito mentions that Shuichiro is planning to submit the painting into an art contest. Later, Ahi spots Koito being sketched by Shuichiro as well. Back to the room, the girls continue to converse as they play a game. Rika compliments Ai's mother, while berating her own. Ai appreciates the compliment, and says that her mother always does things perfectly, but also cites it as the potential reason for her father leaving. Rika begins to tickle Naru, after she calls her an anachronistic fool, causing her to break into laughter. Back in the egg world, Naru protects a girl named Aoi. Naru shows visible annoyance towards Aoi, telling her not to touch her. She spots Aoi's Wonder Killer, a trio of 3 octopus-like creatures, and fires a round at the blue one, to knock it away from the others. As Naru takes aim at the remaining 2, Aoi begins to lecture her on the fleeting nature of beauty. Naru lands a few hits with her weapon, but the Wonder Killers quickly rebound and return to action. In the real world, Ahi, Naru, Rika, and Momoe walk together to a powered-down arcade, situated near the location they buy eggs. As the 4 girls eat snacks in the arcade, Aka reminds them that outside food is prohibited. They do not take the reminder seriously, and instead, request that they activate the arcade as a form of group therapy. Aka concedes, and allows them to play one game of bowling. During the game, Momoe opens up about her friend she is trying to save, Haruka. Momoe was close to Haruka due to the fact that she was willing to see her as a girl. Aka tells the girls to buy eggs and leave after finishing their game, but when he goes to turn off the arcade, Aka intervenes and says there is no harm allowing them to play. Once the girls finish playing and go to buy eggs, Rika suggests that they should stop buying eggs, citing that they should not feel fully responsible for the deaths, as they did not directly cause them. When Rika is told by Ai to stop, she claims that I should feel the least responsible out of everyone else due to the fact that Koito did not even talk to her before dying. Naru gets up to leave, and reveals that her sister stabbed her in the back, and when she woke up in the ICU, she was told her sister had ran away. and jumped off a bridge, the scars ache when she tries to forget about her, so she buys eggs, as she has found the pain has faded since she has started. Back in the egg world, Neru struggles to defeat the Wonder Killer, as she is unsure of which one to hit. Neru comes to a realization, and fires her weapon at Aoi's hair, cutting most of it off. This defeats the Wonder Killer. Neru deduces that Aoi actually regrets her suicide, as no one would be able to call her pretty again. Aoi sheds a tear before disappearing. All the girls return to buy eggs the next day, much to the delight of Aka and Aka. In the egg world, Ahi and a girl named Yae Yoshida run through the hallways of her egg world to escape a horde of Sino evils. The Sino evils begin to remove their masks, causing them to become more deadly. Aka tells Ai that they are known as haters. One of the haters manages to injure Yae's arm. As the two escape into a storage room, due to the issue presented by the haters, Aka remotely tells Ai to stay put instead of fighting, and explains he has a solution in mind. As the haters break through the door, Neru, Rika, Momoe, and Ai all say that their greatest objective is Wonder Egg priority. The next morning Ai begrudgingly wakes up, as her mother calls her for breakfast. Ai texts with Neru, Rika, and Momoe as she eats breakfast with her mother. Day asks Ai if she would like to have a serious chat with Shuichiro about her future, to which Ai angrily responds that she will think about it. After breakfast, Ai is asked over text by her friend if she will be free that evening. Ai texts back that today does not work, but that tomorrow works. The next day Neru, Rika, and Momoe wait to meet up with Ai. The three girls observe Ai as she knocks a sign over with the traffic cone. Before calming down, the four girls go to see Aka and Aka. Neru inquiries about the solution Aka had suggested, and they are presented with a set of 4 pomanders, one for each of them. Aka explains that they first need to hatch the pomanders in the real world, and that they should do it alone, as the pomanders imprint on the first person they see. After receiving their pomanders, the 4 girls leave and hang out nearby. Now it's Rika's 14th birthday, and we come to find out that her mother promised her that she will reveal who her father is when she turns 14. But when the time comes, her mother hands her photographs of 5 men, saying it's one of these and that. She doesn't remember much about what happened during that time. This upsets Rika a lot, as we see even though she is always smiling, she is hurting herself in silence as she blames herself for her friend's death. After this Rika goes to celebrate her birthday with her new friends, but it soon turns into a pity party, as Rika starts complaining about her mother, and Momoe and Ahi says that she shouldn't. A small fight breaks out and we get to see how difficult it actually is for Rika to stay like this. Meanwhile, Neru reveals that she has no parents, as she was born through preferential mating, and how Ahi, even though having a caring mother, is feeling ups and downs in her relationship as well. Next day, to everyone's surprise, Neru invites them to visit her home. Neru is sponsored by Japan Plotty, an organization which only takes in people of very high IQ. There, they show them how they are tracking Neru's egg world dreams, and trying to study them. After that, Neru takes them to her room, where they talk for a bit, after which Neru shows them her friend, who is in a cryogenic sleep. Her name is Kotobuki, and she is also a member of Japan Plotty. Neru explains how she was experimenting with death, and ended up in this state. Neru then tells them that she met Kotobuki in one of her egg dreams, and she told her that alternate timelines are real. They are fighting her Wonder Killer, whom they successfully defeat, after which Kotobuki convinces Neru to pull the plug on her. Momoe and Rika are against her, while Ahi asks her to sleep on it. Later on we find out that Ara and Aka are connected with Japan Plotty. After finding the connection between Japan Plotty and Aka and Aka, Rika and Momoe texts others. Meanwhile Momoe is asked out on a date by one of her followers, but she is not very excited about it, but she still dresses herself in a beautiful way, while other girls get excited about it. Meanwhile, Neru reveals that Aka and Aka are the founders of Japan Plotty, and also shows them their picture while they were humans. Momoe goes on her date, but she is shocked to find out as the person asked her out thinking of her as a boy. This deeply hurts her. In the egg world, Momoe is protecting Karu from her Wonder Killer, who is her kendo teacher, who assaulted her physically. After fighting and beating the Wonder Killer, both of them bond with each other and then Karu disappears. In the dream world, Rika is able to bring Chiemi back, and she vanishes. Relieved, Rika is happy, but suddenly her pomander is attacked by Dot, who kills it. Rika tries to fight her, but she is overpowered. Meanwhile back home, Ahi meets Aka, who tells her all about his past. Him and Aka were scientists, and used to stay very busy, but they also felt alone. So they decided to make an artificial girl, whose age will be fixed at 14, to treat as their daughter. In this attempt they create Frill, Initially they are really happy as Frill kept them company, and in a party they meet Azusa, who likes Aka, and they ended up getting married. Frill does not like her, as she does not get much attention afterwards, and due to this jealousy she kills Azusa while she is pregnant. This angers Aka and he locks her in a basement. After this, they create another artificial girl named Himari, but she commits suicide around the age of 14, without leaving any note behind. Aka thinks it's Frill's doing and confronts her. After an altercation, Aka takes her far away and burns her body. After this, they research the suicide of girls around the age of 14. Ahi leaves second-guessing herself. After learning about what happened with Rika, Ahi leaves her pomander behind, but she finds it difficult to survive on her own. Aka advises her to fight with everything she had, as her mission is top priority, after which she breaks the egg, and to her surprise Ahi comes out of the egg. Aka explains that she is I from a parallel universe, where she committed suicide and now she has to protect her. I feels bad for her other self, and fight all the haters and talks to her about Koito. The parallel world I is surprised, knowing that she can make friends. They reach the roof, where there is a pool. In a flashback, it is shown that parallel world I drowned herself. I calls her name, and she gets pulled back into reality, where I asks if she's okay. Parallel universe I asks what Koito was like, and I admits that she doesn't really know much about Koito. From the pool emerges the Wonder Killer, who turns out to be none other than Shuichiro Sawaki. I fights and kills him, bringing back Koito to life, and declares that she will fight Thanatos, the temptation of death. Then they are attacked by Kurara, who is also like Dot, and Parallel Universe I protects her counterpart, and with this the anime comes to an end.